Namaste. So it is said that within the pind there is the Brahmand. Pind is the body, anything which is body, matter, anything made of matter. That's called pind. It's not only the human body. That's why after death is very interesting. In Shraddha ceremonies, you will see that there is a word called as Pindadan. So what they do is they take up some, I don't know whether flour, atta, na? So they make a pind out of several things they mix in it, till, this, that, and they make it pind. And there is a pind which is meant for the departed ones. But because all kinds of forces will come in that atmosphere, so they make a pind even for the bhutas, who will also come, hovering around, trailing. So that is kept in a corner. So anyways, so within the pind, the Brahmand is there, the universe means that in every element of creation, in each atom of existence, literally, the entire cosmos is there. Now it is very easy to understand it. Pure physics will tell us this. So somebody will say, is life there in the atom? It is there. Involved? That's of course. But look at an atom. It's so kinetic, dynamic. One aspect of life it fulfills. Does it replicate? Entire world is built upon blocks of atoms coming together. It doesn't replicate in the human way or in the plant way, but it does. Now, I think recently somebody was showing how stones, living stones, which do everything, including they reproduce out of themselves, they grow, all criteria of living beings they fulfill. And people don't know whether they should be categorized as living or non-living. So there is life within it. Is there mind in an atom? Well, if you look at electrons, they make choices. They seem to make choices. Is there spirit within atoms? Well, implicit, yes, because otherwise there would be no way that there could be ever even an atom formed. An atom is formed out of an indeterminate chaos. There is form which is formed. How? Because there is something which directs it. So if we look at it from purely intellectual way, it is very easy to understand within each atom of existence all the forces of creation. Brahmand means not just the material universe, but all the forces, the living forces of life, forces of mind, spirit, all of them are inside. Sri Aurobindo goes on to say in the electron, Shiva in his fiery chariot rise. He even speaks about the electron being sparks from that fire. But let's not go into philosophy or metaphysical thought. Let's understand its practical implication. Practical implications are that within each of us, now we zoom in onto man for practical purposes, because then we don't have to explain. Even in atom it is true, so in human beings it is true. Especially on earthly matter, it is very, very true that everything that you find anywhere in cosmos is there upon earth. That's why earth is a special field. And every body formed out of earth carries within it all these countless forces. So we are like a melting pot or a cauldron in which all the forces are there. This is our challenge. This is our opportunity. How it is a challenge? Because that's why we experience that within us, as Sri Aurobindo says, there is not a sin of somebody which is not my own. So everything that others have, all the movements of nature are within us. Now we are talking of it in practical terms. So every time we say, oh, that sinner, know that one finger is toward the sinner, four are towards us. That's what Christ's story means, that if you want to hit somebody, first you must make sure that you don't carry that burden of sin inside. Basically, it's a pointer that everything we see in others is within us. This is the first implication. In fact, when we are totally unaware, in a state of ignorance, then this is how awareness starts. We see it in others. Why? Because we carry it in ourselves. If we didn't carry it in ourselves, we won't see and recognize in others. How will we know that somebody is getting jealous if I have not experienced jealousy? Logic, no? How will I know that somebody is full of God if I have not experienced that God intoxicated state? So what we carry within ourselves, that we can see in others, nothing else. So this is the first implication. practical implication of this in within man, the entire universe. So this is the challenge because all these diverse elements there, but also the possibility. We are not fixed to type because the pressure of all these beings, forces. On one side, there is a constant battle within. On the other side, there is doors to evolutionary possibilities that open upon man. Because man carries within himself the universal Godhead, therefore he can evolve into himself realizing oneness with the universal Godhead. So this is the other part of it, that because of this, the difficulties are very great and the possibilities are very great. The third big implication of this truth is that if you want to control the universe, there are two ways. One is go outside, study all the forces and try to find mechanical ways. Another way is go inside. Take up that element and master it. If you master it within, you can master it outside. For example, we see that in Sri Aurobindo's life, there are two very interesting incidents in Sri Aurobindo's life. If you read them, they will sound as contrasts. The first incident is when, before the coming of the mother, when they are living in what is the guest house. It described, Nalnida describes it, that there was a big storm and everybody had to come down from that first floor to ground floor. Then even that roof got blown up and barely they were escaping that tremendous lash of rain. Okay, read this incident. And there is another incident the mother describes where she goes into Sri Aurobindo's room because there is a cyclone, not just a nasty storm. And she sees Sri Aurobindo is writing on the table. Not a paper is flying, not a drop of water is entering inside, and all the windows are open. What happened between these two periods? Somebody who doesn't understand the yogic life will say, oh, how can it be? This is how it is. When Sri Aurobindo experiences that, he knows how he would look at it. I am divine, that he knows, but the forces of material nature are yet to be mastered and conquered. See his letter to mother, when mother is in Japan. Heavens we have conquered, but not yet the earth. The moment you master forces of material nature within yourself, you have a corresponding mastery outside. First, it will start with symbolic. Master your own storm of passion, clouds of doubt and confusion. You will have the power to clear it in others. If you have cleared your own doubts inside your head, your speech will carry that clarity. It has nothing to do with a mental understanding and all that, because it's clear within you. Have you noticed this? That something which is clear within you gets communicated. Very often it just gets communicated. Of course, receptivity, openness, all that is there. But because there is a clarity inside, clarity is an attribute, it just gets communicated. It's not about telling things logically, intellectually. You can do all that. And same way, when you have mastered your own passions, and somebody comes to you with a lot of anger, lot of, whatever. So, what do? You look inside, all that is arising inside, and you master that. If the other person is continuing to be angry, that means there is something within you have not mastered. So it's a beautiful opportunity to grow. Of course, this can be to any extent. There can be, there are different levels of anger. There is the anger of a little rat, and there is the anger of the cobra raising all its hood and striking you. There is the anger of the bull rushing at the... But different degrees you have to master. So every interaction with people is in... when we observe our own reactions, we know what is not mastered within us. Mother has said this. She said, every time that I observe, in fact, somebody asked, I see dishonest people all around, what should I do? She says, observe within yourself where you are dishonest. So the person initially thought, dishonest, I am a very honest person. She says, no, observe within yourself. Everybody has some dishonesty somewhere, which we don't realize. We don't call it dishonesty. For instance, in the dining room context, she tells Champaklalji, when you give the food given in the dining room to servants, you are being dishonest. So, what, mother? But I am giving because, something. Says, what about if the person is a sadhak? She says, yes, even then. Now, this was Champaklalji. It's not about a mechanical rule. It could be a state of consciousness, it can be very different. But Just to give an example. So she says, look inside yourself, where is the dishonesty? Eliminate it. And then she says, this is what I do every time that I observe an imperfection in somebody around me. She says, I go inside and find that spot within me and rectify it. My God, it was so humbling to read that. There in Narayan Prasad, Life in Sri Aurobindo Ashram. This interview is documented there. It was so humbling to read that how the Divine Mother, she is not blaming the person. She says, I go inside, find out where is that imperfection within me, because she is the entire cosmos. She can't say, oh, this is not me. And she observes and corrects it. So each one, final take-home point for this is, each of us is a representative of a cosmic problem and a cosmic possibility. When we correct it within ourselves, we facilitate and help in correcting it in others. Very often people ask, what are the sadhaks doing in Sri Aurobindo Ashram? Other than eating dining room food, and they are doing something which cannot be done elsewhere. I mean, Ashram, Auroville, all same. Sadhaks of integral yoga. We battle with the demons inside us, and each time there is a little victory, because it's no more our battle but her battle. It makes it easier to win that demon outside us in the whole world. Because the Pind and the Brahmand are one. And in both, it is the divine who resides, just to make it more complete. Each of us carry within ourselves the universe. Somebody very beautifully put it, I think it's Walt Whitman. And Sri Aurobindo speaks about it, quotes it. I contradict myself. Somebody must have told him. He says, I contradict myself. Well, I contain multitudes. I contain multitudes. Which is so true. We will see within ourselves contradictory movement, because the entire universe is within us. And if we are able to see the contradictory movement, that means we have progressed on the path of yoga. If we are only seeing good things, that no, I have nothing which contradicts me, I have no shadows, I am a goody boy, sadhu bacha. If we go to divine, he'll say, okay, I'll show you what sadhu bacha you are. Go back. You are still in kindergarten. But the day we begin to see that we have within ourselves the shadow of the light we are aspiring to become, then the real yoga, the real battle, Kurukshetra, and the real path to victory has begun. And each of such victory, however small, will be a victory shared by everyone. Thank you.